Thank you for watching Let's Get Political. I'm, of course, your host, Alicia Reese. Today we have State Representative Susan Plasencia with us. Thank you so much for taking the time to answer these questions.
My pleasure.
Question 1. Who's your best friend at the Capitol?
Best friend is a very strong term, at least for me anyways. It means a great deal. My best friends are my father, my children who are grown. They're not, they're not young. But my friends here at the Capitol, these are people that support me, support the citizens of the state of Florida, that I can trust to help me get things through when it's important. And I have 2 in mind, so not necessarily 1. And the first one is Danny Perez. So when I came in as a freshman, I'm a freshman member, he's more senior than I could ask him anything. And he would give me a pathway, a guidance to be able to pass bills, to be able to negotiate things that are important to the state of Florida. And so he was instrumental in guiding me along in that first term. And the second is Jennifer Kennedy. So I met her when I was campaigning, and she did phone calls for me. She walked and canvassed and knocked on doors for me. And when we're here in the House, we work together on things that are important for Florida, and if there's anything I need for my district, she's there for me.
Who's your best friend from across the aisle?
I respect an awful lot of people from across the aisle, but the one person I work with the most is Johanna Lopez. We are neighbors. Our districts are one next to the other, and we share a lot of the same concerns because our constituents are neighbors. And so when there are things that are important to Orange County, we work together. When there was a business in her district that needed help from the state, we like to bridge that gap between the constituent and the state, make sure that they have what they need. And so it didn't matter to me that it was her district. We worked together to make sure that that business was able to take care of any problems they have with the Department of Transportation. So we work together on a lot of things that are constituent related to make sure that the people are well represented in our area. Doesn't matter what party she's from.
What do you do when you aren't in Tallahassee and when you are in Tallahassee but not at the Capitol?
When I'm in the Capitol, when I'm in Tallahassee, I don't really do anything except work. So you won't find me at events or at the karaoke bar or any of that stuff. I'm either here working or I'm at home preparing to come back to work. And that's what I do when I'm here. But when I'm at home, when I'm in the district, I'm an event producer. I produce events for a living. I've been doing it now for about 30 years. Concerts and festivals with attendances of anywhere from 30,000 people to 100,000 people. And we do this across the East Coast, but primarily in Central Florida. And so that's the family business. And so it feels like home when I'm doing that. It doesn't feel like work. But when I'm at home, I take care of my mother. I think a lot of us do. When we reach a certain age, our parents reach a certain age, we take care of them as much as we can. Love my dogs because my children are grown now, but I have 3 Bow Wows. I have a European Labrador. I have a Bloodhound. And I have the cutest mix of I don't know what. She's got a curly tail and she's blonde with perky ears. Her name is Tilly. And I enjoy playing with them and just loving on them.
What's your favorite bill that you put forth last year?
I have 2 and they're related. Okay, so it all has to do with school choice, really. And so the first one is I was the prime co-sponsor of the school choice expansion across the state of Florida. And that was important to me because my 3 children, each of them graduated in a different way, which to me means every child learns differently. And that's exactly what this bill did, is that if you want to homeschool, let's support that. If you want to go to private school, let's support that. If you want to go to public school, let's support that. Whatever needs can be best addressed and taken care of for that child educationally, that's what we did here in Florida last year. So that was by far the biggest bill for me last year. But then the second one also had to do with choice to a degree. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a backstory. My son, one of the 3, we knew he wasn't going to graduate. He's just a smart kid, but he wasn't one of those kids that liked to be in school too much. So we decided, let's go get him his GED. The school district would not allow him to go take the test. They wanted him to sit in a classroom to learn how to do the GED, despite the fact that he passed their pretest. And so the first thing I did when I became a state representative was pass a law to say that the school districts can't hold you back. And I think by and large, they want to do great by our students, but sometimes there's these little pockets where we can improve, and that was one of them.
What's a bill that someone else put forth that you're passionate about?
Anything with insurance. Well, I wouldn't say anything. It's a big deal. Insurance is a big deal in Florida. It's something we worked on most of last session. Something that we need to continue working on. And as far as I'm concerned, those are my favorite bills. My favorite bills are the ones that I follow, whether it's filed by me or filed by someone else. I follow them. I advocate for them if I think that they're good for Floridians, especially in my area. And insurance.
Do you live in your district?
Absolutely.
You're running for re-election. Sum up your campaign in one word.
Victory. And it's one word is really difficult. I'm a common sense candidate. That's what it comes down to. I came up to Tallahassee to take care of the issues of the people in my district. And if it's good for my district, then it's good for the state. But my district comes first. And so those are a lot of words, but victory would be the top one.
If you win re-election, how do you realistically see Florida in the next 2 years?
In 2 years, I would like to be past this insurance crisis. So I see Florida being past this insurance crisis. Hopefully by then, the inflation will have come down just a little bit. That's not something that we can control here in Florida on a state level, but it's going to have a huge impact on everything. So insurance behind us, inflation behind us.
What's something about the Capitol that a lot of people don't know? A secret spot or a little known fact?
Well, I think you'll know this. The elevators are where you meet people. And so that's where I met you. It's also where I've met constituents. It's also where people have stopped me just to have an impromptu meeting on the way up or on the way down.
What's a misconception people have about your job?
That we don't work well together, Democrats and Republicans. I think that's a misconception. And by and large, it comes from the news. Because they want those clicks, they want those, post comments, they will talk about all the things that make us different. But here in the Florida House, that's not how we lead. We don't lead by divisiveness. So, and just to give you an example, last year we passed 356 bills, of which 290 were either unanimous or near unanimous. That means that both Democrats and Republicans are agreeing on what's important for this state. And you don't hear a lot about that.
If you weren't a state representative, what would you do?
I would keep doing what I do. So I'm not a career politician. I was a mom that took care of her kids and got them through homeschool and private school and public school education. I take care of my parents. I own a business, love my dogs, love the chickens. I've got chickens. I ran for office because I thought it was the right thing to do for my district. I thought that I could make a difference. I know that I can make a difference. And so I ran for office and won. But when my term here is over, I will go back to petting the dogs and raising the chickens and having events and hopefully still taking care of my parents, spending time with them.
What's a fun fact about your job that people don't know?
Which job? Special events. So I'm an event producer. Everyone seems to think they walk into an event, they go, this is so great. I could do this. But it takes months. It takes months. But the funnest thing is being able to talk to the entertainers, watch them rehearse, not just perform, but watch them rehearse. And that's always been a great deal of fun for me. And here, what's the funnest thing? I wouldn't say it's fun, but it's rewarding. And that's taking care of the constituents. So we're only here for... The session is about 2 months, 60 days, if I'm mistaken, or about. And I spend the rest of the year helping people, mostly people who are having issues with the state. And I'm not the kind of person that passes the buck. I don't send an email and say, oh, can you please help with this, and never look at it again. They know, the people who are supposed to be responsive to my constituents know that I'm calling back. If you don't call me back, if I'm in the Capitol, I'm walking over to your office to see what's going on. But I've been in situations where I've needed help. I've always been grateful for the help I've been given. And I understand some of the positions that people are in. And I want to make sure from my end that I'm doing everything that I can do to make sure that their issue is resolved. It's rewarding.
What does your perfect day include?
At home doing nothing. That's the perfect day where I just get to spend time with my family. That to me is the most important thing, is spending time with family. And a perfect day in the Capitol is when everything goes right, which generally that doesn't always happen that way. I start off my morning with my friends here at the Capitol, and we're able to accomplish a great deal of things for Floridians. That's a perfect day.
Thank you so much for taking the time.
You're welcome. Awesome.